Since I signed a con, I'm Louis Vuitton shine. Up in Benny Hine, eating all the wonton.
Before Big Sean would have 2 #1 albums, 3 top 10 hits on Billboard, and make a name for himself as one of the most successful rappers of the middle generation.
When I was in the 3rd grade, my teacher was like asking people what they want to be. And I was like, man, I want to be a rapper, sign to Def Jam. My teacher was like, oh no, and shit, right? The same teacher wants me to come back and speak at my school.
Don't do that.
Before Sean would collab with artists like Kanye, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake, Meek Mill, Kendrick, and more, proving on every track that he can hold his own with the greats.
I remember being in fucking like doing shows with J. Cole and there was like 50 people in the crowd. I remember doing shows with Wale, following Wale on my first tour, like us performing for 100 people, motherfuckers not knowing who he was.
Before he would have over 14.5 million followers on Twitter and 11 million followers on Instagram at the time of this recording.
As I'm going into another year of life, you know what I'm saying, wiser, I'm definitely seeing things different than how I used to see them.
Before Sean had it all figured out, he was just rapping with his clique at the radio station trying to make some guap with dreams to turn his dark sky into a paradise. But to get his blessings, he had to make some sacrifices, and every time he fell down, he bounced back. Today, he is proof that one man can change the world, and when it's all said and done, his name will definitely be in the Hall of Fame, and that pun will be my last. Okay, now I'm done.
That shit is corny. You need to step the game up.
But if you're wondering how Sean went from working as a telemarketer to rapping alongside Kanye and Hove, then you clicked on the right video. Okay, now I'm done. I promise. What's going on, good people in the comment section? My name is Jeremy Hecht. I hope you're having one heck of a day. If you're new here and wondering who I am, I'm the LA host for this channel, bringing you weekly content, and today I'll be your host, taking you through the life and career of Big Sean prior to fame. Here for you, of course, on Before They Were Famous. Big Sean holds a pretty special place in my heart because not only because of his music, but he was also one of the first interviews I worked on as a consultant for Power 106, and he seemed like an incredibly humble guy. So this is an updated version because he's back with new music. We've recently done updated bios on Wiz and YG, so check those out later. Also, as always, let us know who to cover next in the comments down below, and we'll be sure to make those videos for you. But before we begin, I've got a trivia question for you. Today's question is, how long did it take before Sean signed to Kanye after they first met? I'll give you that answer a little later on, but for now, let's get into the show. Sean Michael Leonard Anderson was born on March 25th, 1988 in Santa Monica, California, but moved to Detroit, Michigan when he was just 3 months old. He was raised by his mother, Myra, who was a school teacher, and his father, James Anderson. He grew up on the west side of Detroit at 6 Mile and Wyoming.
For real, no. Made it. Got on. Nobody from my city. Detroit? Hell nah. I ain't no Eminem.
Like he talks about in many of his songs, his grandmother also played a huge role in his life. On One Man Can Change the World, he tells the moving story of how his grandmother, Mildred Leonard, was one of the first ever female black captains in the US Army. She served in World War II and she made it back home, buying a house on the same street as Marvin Gaye, and she received a master's degree from the University of Michigan. She also worked as a police officer, a teacher, and a counselor, and Big Sean says she taught him how to drive, how to love, and so much more. Sean attended Detroit's Waldorf School, which was a nicer school tailored for the arts in a neighborhood much different than where he was living at the time, giving him a unique perspective on life. He graduated from Cass Technical High School with a 3.7 GPA, and Sean dated his high school girlfriend Ashley Marie from the time he was 16 until their breakup in early 2013. Ashley is another person who's mentioned on multiple Big Sean songs, most notably the song he named after her called Ashley, where he talks about their long and complicated relationship, but it seems like he has nothing but love for his former girlfriend. While in high school, even though he kept good grades, Sean's passion and focus was undoubtedly on music. Sean was battle rapping, recording mixtapes, and would pass them out around school. He said at one point he was making $100 per week just from selling his CDs. He even had Finally Famous written on his jacket way back in high school. When Big Sean was 16, he got his first car, which based on the Hall of Fame song, I'm guessing was a Toyota. He started driving down to the local radio station WHTD, where he participated in a show called The Friday Night Cypher. The show would have rappers battling each other for a slot on air.
I'ma keep on going, brother, until I got a bank of cash and pour a liquor on my bra like Damon Dash, sucker.
Sean ended up heading to the station for a year straight to compete in these battles, oftentimes winning and getting to spit his bars live on air. This helped him to build a relationship with the radio station, which he would later on need, but we'll get to that in a second.
You know, so going into my senior year of high school, Kanye was down there promoting his album,
on a Saturday morning. And the show I did was every Friday night.
Now at the time, Big Sean worked as a telemarketer making $120 per paycheck. On the same Saturday that Kanye was in the studio, Sean was cashing his check at the bank when he got a call from his best friend. His friend called him and said, Kanye's at the station, you need to go over there, you need to rap for him, he'll sign you. Sean said to his friend, no, that sounds stupid, and hung up. But after thinking about it for like 10 seconds, he thought, why not? Called him back and said, let's do it. Sean barely had any gas left in his car and he didn't end up cashing his check because the line was too long, but his friend Brandon came in clutch.
You know, I have no money, but luckily one of my other boys, B-Wash, Brandon, he gave me $20 to drive down there. He was like, I'll give you $20 if you let me come with you.
When Sean arrived at the studio, he lied to the program director and said that he left his phone in the studio during the cypher from the night before. One of the DJs told him, yo, you should go rap for Ye, so Sean made his way down the hallway. By the time Big Sean made it in, Kanye was already walking out.
Cool. So I'm walking down the hallway and I get past his security and his road manager. I guess they thought I worked there or something. I don't know what they thought. But anyway, so I get to Ye and Ye shakes my hand.
Sean shook his hand, but Kanye kept walking toward the exit. So in a last second effort, he tapped Kanye on the shoulder and told him about his Friday night freestyles every week at the station. Kanye said, keep going, man, and then kept walking. And Sean was like, okay, I guess that's it. But his friend told him, you gotta go rap for Ye, man, you gotta do it. And you always need a supportive friend like that to take you to the next level. So Big Sean followed up and he asked Kanye if he could spit some bars for him. Kanye initially said, nah, I don't have time. But finally he said, sure. And Big Sean got to rap some bars.
He was like, all right, man, you got 16 bars, one verse, rapping while we walking out the station, go.
Big Sean started rapping while they were walking toward the exit, and Kanye was still bobbing his head the whole time, so Sean kept rapping.
I was rapping for like 10 minutes straight, and the whole crowd came around, like people that were working at the station, everybody started clapping. And you know, that's basically how I got his attention. He invited me to a listening party later that night.
Big Sean left Kanye his demo, and Kanye saw potential for greatness. Ye's road manager Don C told Sean that he should come to their listening party later that night and come hang out with them. So all seemed to be going well for Sean. He felt like he was closer to his dreams, except for one thing. He forgot to ask for the address, so obviously Sean was freaking out.
So I thought I lost my chance, man, and I was like so pissed off. But as I was walking back to my car, somebody who was parked in front of the car was hopping out, and I was hopping in mine, and he was like, yo, you the kid that rap for Kanye? I'm like, yeah. He was like, man, that shit was crazy, man. You going to the listening party? And I'm like, I don't even know where it is. And he was like, man, I got the address right here in my pocket, man. It's all, yo, I got it right here. And I was like, oh, shit.
Fate intervened time and time again, proving that Big Sean was made for this. But even after listening to his CD at the listening party, Kanye wasn't sold on Big Sean. He said he wanted to help him out and maybe send him a couple beats, but that's pretty much it. So the two went back and forth over emails as Sean worked on some tracks. At the same time, Sean became big into self-improvement, reading books like Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hecht, The Seven Spiritual Laws by Deepak Chopra, and The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which gave him a spiritual foundation. I would also recommend all three of those books. I've read all three, and if you're looking for something to give you a new perspective or mindset, definitely one of those. The Alchemist definitely changed my perspective on the journey of chasing your dreams, and internally just gave me a lot, so yeah.
I still gotta prove myself, man. It's all about just progression and continuously getting better, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta use that look to your advantage.
At the time, Big Sean was planning on going to college and had been accepted into Michigan State, where he was gonna focus on business and advertising. His grandmother had saved basically her whole life for his college fund and really wanted him to attend, but like Sean rapped, everything ain't for everybody. He knew that things were gonna work out with music and that he just needed patience, so he decided to pass on college to work on music full time as he waited for the Ye situation to play out. But Sean had to watch all of his friends reach their goals in school and progress with their life while he was stuck at home writing raps and waiting for a record deal. And sometimes Sean would go months without even talking to Kanye, so he didn't really know how the situation was gonna play out.
Real scary thing, I was broke as hell, you know, and I had kind of a buzz in my city, and I was like signed to Kanye, but I wasn't shit. So it's not like I could just go work at the mall or some shit.
Sean remembers being so broke at the time that he couldn't even pay for McDonald's. And one time, he went to McDonald's without any money, and by accident, they ended up giving him a meal for free. Again, could be another case of fate, who knows. But eventually, Sean did sign to Kanye almost 2 years after the initial meeting at the radio station. And even though he was signed to Good, that didn't automatically mean he was put on. His career actually seemed like it was put on hold for years when he worked more behind the scenes. But he wasn't really getting the push for his own music. For a while, he thought it might not happen. Big Sean dropped the classic mixtape series Finally Famous, and finally, with the third volume, that was his introduction into the mainstream hip-hop world in 2010. That same year, Sean was featured on the bonus track See Me Now for Kanye's masterpiece, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and he was selected as a part of the XXL freshman class that year, alongside J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa, Nipsey Hussle, J-Rock, Freddie Gibbs, and more. I personally think that might be, just might be, the best freshman class cover of all time. But the work still wasn't done for Sean. He was handing in more mixtape material to his label, but they told him they wanted more radio-friendly singles. J. Cole and Wale, his peers, went through similar things where early on in their careers, the label wanted them to have a mainstream single, so certain compromises were made for songs like Dance, Workout, and Chillin' for those three artists respectively. But what we're seeing now is that if you have a dedicated fan base, you don't really need a single, just great music and a good project. Sean dropped his debut album Finally Famous, which ended up landing at number 3 on the US Billboard 200, and the singles My Last Dance, Marvin, and Chardonnay all went platinum. But Big Sean's journey since then has been one of highs, lows, and overall growth. He dropped a classic mixtape in Detroit, which is my personal favorite Big Sean project. He dropped revered albums like Dark Sky Paradise, albums that weren't as well received like the Metro Boomin assisted Double or Nothing and Hall of Fame, and I really loved I Decided. So honestly, I'm looking forward to what comes out next musically from Sean.
I feel like people are just getting to know me. A lot of people may have been like, man, this dude's not for real, or, you know, this or that, are starting to come around, you know what I'm saying? And if they not, they will, because I'm genuine, man. I keep it real with everything I do.
Sean's relationships have also been extremely public, and it's probably because he only dates superstar girls. After breaking up with his longtime girlfriend Ashley, he was engaged to the girl who was on Glee and making more money than him, Naya Rivera. Their relationship ended on a not so great note, although it spawned one of Sean's biggest hits to date with IDFWU. Next, he was with Ariana Grande, who thought they would end up together, but realized it wasn't a match. Like Sean said, every time he dates a girl, the next one is gonna be better, and Ariana took his fame to a new level. But after 8 months, the two broke up.
What I like in women is when they got drive, when they got focus.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's what I like, I attach to, I appreciate, because I got drive, I got focus too, and you know, every day I'm like, gotta get it.
And most recently, he was dating longtime friend slash soulmate, Jhené Aiko. The two have collaborated on many songs in the past, including a full-length album together under the name 2088. And while the two broke up, it appears that they're on good terms. They took pictures together, they mentioned each other in songs. I mean, Sean even had Jhené singing backup vocals on a song called Single Again. If that doesn't tell you how cool of a guy Big Sean is, then I don't know what will. Well, maybe this picture might. At the time of this recording, Big Sean is set to release a new album, and he seems to be in the clearest headspace he's been in for a long time. I'm just really happy for him, wishing him nothing but success and happiness, and he's one of my favorite rappers of all time, so pleasure doing this video. What's your favorite Big Sean song? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about his career trajectory so far? And anything else you want to talk about, let me know there or on Instagram. But as for this video, that's all I got for you. For Before They're Famous, I'm Jeremy Hecht. Be sure to follow me on the gram, talk about anything you want, dream good, live better, and if nobody has told you yet, I love you. I realized I just ate a jalapeno pepper and then stuck my finger in my eye. Probably not good, but hey, here we are, so